also endeavor to give you a fair idea of exactly what participation in IRIS is all about. So the key objectives of IRIS are to stimulate young minds to take an active interest in science and technology, and to encourage students to use research as a tool for creating new knowledge. So what we advocate is that you should look for the why in everything that you see, in everything that is around you, and in everything that you do. And so we hope with that line of questioning, you can go ahead to build a strong scientific temper. I'm sure this particular period that all of us are facing, which came upon us so unexpectedly, has been a time when all of us question more often than not. So we're here today to tell you how to convert all those whys into very positive outcomes. So just to give you a brief on the IRIS annual timeline, IRIS reaches out to students, teachers, and schools across the country. And right now we are at that stage of the IRIS annual timeline when students start finalizing, working on the projects and finalizing what they will actually put down as their project synopsis. And so we will have our expert today give you an very important information about how synopsis need to be written and how you need to go about putting your ideas into action. Now, we have many queries about participation eligibility, and this is something that we take very seriously. Students who participate in IRIS need to be of Indian origin from schools based in India. They can participate individually or in a team of 2 students. There are 2 categories to participate in IRIS: the junior category, which is of classes 5 to 8, and the senior category, classes 9 to 12. Classes 5 to 8 students can qualify for the Broadcom Masters Award, while senior category students from classes 9 to 12 can compete and participate in IRIS for the ISEF award. Now, there's one more very important factor here. Students who have completed their class 12 board exams at the time of project submission are not permitted to participate. So if you have finished your class 12 board exams, you are not eligible to participate, and we regret that. However, that's part of the rules for IRIS. Only students studying in class 5 to class 12 can participate. So the question now arises that, okay, if you finished with your class 12, or you're a teacher, or you are part of some other organization that is interested in STEM, how can you associate with IRIS? So if you're a student, you can definitely, I mean, when I say student, I'm talking about people who have finished with their class 12. You can definitely associate with IRIS as a volunteer. Teachers and people from the scientific community are more than welcome to associate with IRIS as mentors. And if you are somebody who is associated with a lab or an exhibition space or with a university, then we would welcome you to write to us and let us know how you can suggest collaborating with IRIS over the next year. We are definitely open to receiving emails from you. So please get in touch with us at contact@irisnationalfair.org. And now, without taking any more time, I am very pleased to welcome Dr. Sunil Wanchoo, who is Associate Professor, School of Physics, SMVD University. Dr. Wanchoo obtained his Master's in Physics and PhD in Physics from University of Mumbai. He has been working with Sri Mata Vaishno Devi University since 2004. He is member of the IRIS Scientific Review Committee. He has diversified his research area to geophysics and is currently working in the Northwestern Himalayas under a collaborative program with IISER Kolkata and University of Cambridge. He is the principal investigator for a major research project called the Physics of Earthquakes and Delineation of Himalayan Thrust Faults. A very warm welcome to you, Dr. Sunil Wanchoo. Thank you so much for taking time off to be with us today. I will now hand over the session to you, sir.
Thank you, Sharon, for your kind words and giving me this opportunity to interact with the future IRIS participants and possibly, winners. So yeah, let me just share the screen. A very good afternoon to all the young budding future scientists of India and all the other participants who are part of this webinar. I don't know exactly who all are taking part, but I'm sure that there must be teachers, parents, and students who are part of this webinar. I hope you are able to hear me. Sharon, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay, thank you. So let's begin. First of all, what basically I'm going to talk about is these 4 or 5 broad questions, and we'll cover them one by one. The first one is how to find a project idea in the category of engineering mechanics. Well, to do that, we first need to have some fair, idea and background of what mechanics or engineering mechanics is all about. You already would have learned, some of this in your school or otherwise. When we talk about mechanics, we are talking about basically 3 subjects: statistics, dynamics, and strength of materials. Statistics means body at rest, dynamics means body in motion, and strength of materials is when you try to test the strength of different materials under different conditions so that they can be used for different applications. And in engineering mechanics, basically the focus is on studying the response of bodies under the action of various types of forces. Now, it is basically an application of mechanics to solve problems involving common engineering elements. When I say problems, these can be real life problems that human beings face on a day-to-day basis. And another question that should be coming to your mind is, what is mechanical engineering and how is engineering mechanics different from mechanical engineering? Well, mechanical engineering itself is a huge domain of knowledge, and engineering mechanics is simply a subset of that. It falls under that domain. And you can say that, in short, that this engineering mechanics is a subset of mechanical engineering, or in a broader sense, that of physics. And in this subject, we basically cover anything that needs manufacturing, and it may have moving parts, and we may also use some mathematical tools that can be applied to solve a particular problem. So in short, it includes anything that moves. And you can also include human body. If you were to consider body as a machine, then even human body would be such a body that I'm just introducing to you. And in broader sense, what is a body? Body itself can be categorized into 3 different types. A body can be a rigid body, it can be a deformable body, or it can be a fluid body. Rigid body is something which is very hard, which you cannot deform. And deformable body, for example, an elastic band, you can pull it, you can deform its shape. And fluid is liquids and gases. So if you apply a force to any of these bodies and try to study its behavior, its response to that force, that's what basically we are talking about when we talk about engineering mechanics. And force, in class 3, 4, nowadays children study force. So the basic fundamental definition of force is push or pull. Okay, now how do we develop a research-based project in this area called engineering mechanics? According to me, we should answer this question, in a different manner. First of all, we need to be, clear what is it that we want to do. And at that stage, we may not worry about engineering mechanics or mechanical engineering or electrical engineering or, any subject for that matter. Because uh, we need to first identify a problem, and what are the personality traits that one should have to be able to identify such a problem which one wants to solve. Well, you should be inspired by a situation, you should be inspired by somebody's pain, you should be inspired by a problem that is, that the society is faced with, and you should be sensitive to that problem or that pain. And then you should be a good observer. Only a good observer can observe such a problem, can observe a person in pain, or can observe larger number of people in pain due to some problem. And then you need to have some amount of creativity which you need to bring in, so that you can, come up with a solution. And to come up with a, viable solution, a usable solution, you may have to, include some research, you may have to find out the background work that others have done, or what knowledge is already available, and what addition you need to do that to that knowledge. And finally, you may need to innovate. Innovate as in, do something new which no one has done earlier. And this innovation itself, can be categorized into three types. You may have an existing application, existing tool, and you may enhance, that tool in some way. That itself qualifies as innovation. Or there may be an existing application, and you may extend that to some other area of use. That is also an innovation. Or you may develop an altogether new thing in a specialized domain. For example, in medical sciences these days, people are, working day and night for a vaccine for COVID. So that is specialization, where you completely develop something new about which there is no prior knowledge and nobody has worked on that in past. So any of these three things would qualify as innovation. And historically, here I would like to add a caveat. There are several pictures that you'll be seeing in my presentation. I want to, make it clear, they're not my pictures. They're available freely on web, and I would like to give due credit to all the people who have either created those pictures or have, clicked these pictures. I am not the author of these pictures. So the story of going from DOS to Windows is an example of enhancement. The story of mechanical watch to a quartz watch, and now to the modern gadgets which you use. Similarly, modem to this, asynchronous digital subscriber line based modem, ordinary TV to LCD screen TV, and now LEDs. So you can think of n number of such examples where enhancements have been done. Somebody developed a TV and someone else thought that, we could improve the functionality of this TV by making it maybe, from an ordinary picture tube based TV to a LCD based TV. So people have done enhancements. I'm just giving you these examples so that you get an idea. If you were to pick up a problem where there is a solution already existing and you would want to enhance that further or improve its features. Similarly, you may extend uh, an existing solution. For example, you have a toothbrush with which you may want to add the, paste. Similarly, a torch in a pen, or a pen with a torchlight, a mobile handset with camera, FM, radio, MP3. So this whole story, how all this has developed over the years. A memory stick with MP3 player, cinema hall to multiplex. Then this famous Swiss knife comes with a pen drive. Not now, this is now almost 10-15-year-old story. So originally the knife did not have this pen drive, but then when they realized that, pen drive is being used by everyone, they added it to the knife. So there are such examples which are available. Now, some pictures I would like to show you. For example, if you were to walk, somewhere in the woods and you see this picture, what comes to your mind? Does anything come to your mind? Do you ask a question? What has happened here a while ago? One person may ask this question, another person may not ask this question. Then this picture, what is it? What has happened here? Right? Similarly, another one. So there's a fold here. We may be seeing such folds every time we go for a drive on some hilly terrain, maybe in Ladakh or places like that. But do we really observe these things keenly? Uh, are we keen enough to observe such things around us? Similarly, when you see a mosquito trying to bite you, what comes to your mind? You want to get rid of the mosquito immediately, or something else also comes to your mind? Do you ask a question at that time? One question could be, how does a fly or a mosquito, walk? How is it able to walk on water? Can something else also float on water? So people have done such experiments because they got inspired by this insect walking on water, being able to walk on water, hold on water. So they try to do such experiments. So through all these pictures, what I am trying to tell you is that you need to be a keen observer. You need to be able to see things different from a common student or a common person. Then you will be able to appreciate what I was trying to talk about in the beginning, the pain that somebody may be going through, the problem that somebody may be facing. And that is what will motivate you to come up with a project or a solution to that problem. There are such examples, where products have come up because of this. So this person, Mr. Rajiv Karwal, who founded this company Milagro several years back, he got inspired by the pain or the agony that the ladies would go through when they have to clean the house every day. And he came up with these gadgets with which you could actually clean, mop, and do all kinds of things without actually having to bend, because the person who would mop would have to bend otherwise. So it is a successful enterprise now. He is doing very good. But he started off with this venture not with the aim that he's going to come up with a huge empire or a company, or he's going to be a CEO of a company. It is the problem which inspired him to come up with a solution, and that led to all the success that he could achieve. So there are several versions of uh, this robo which he has developed, and I'm sure you'll be able to Google and find out more information about these. Similarly, this beautiful umbrella, this is not an ordinary umbrella. This is UV coated with a fan on top. So one person develops an umbrella, other person comes up with this additional innovative, you know, enhancements to that umbrella. Is what basically I was talking about when I say that you need to be inspired. I have been in Bombay for a few years, and I can truly relate with this kind of an innovation, because if you have such an umbrella there, it can be really relief. Similarly, this young boy, he thought of this very unique innovation where in a torch he added one additional bulb. So one with which you could see what is in front of you, with the other bulb you could see what is next to you. Basically what I'm talking about is the feet, so that you don't trip, because we have these old people falling in the bathrooms and in dark areas. So he got inspired by this problem, and he came with this simple innovation. There may not be great research in this, but it is the observation, it is getting inspired by the pain or the problem being faced by society. Similarly, the famous straw story. Originally, the straw would not bend, and I will leave this slide with you. You can read it even later. I'm sure they are going to share this with you, or you could simply Google about this person, Joseph Fredman, who thought of this unique solution that if I could bend the straw, then it will be very easy for somebody to have a cold drink or a glass of juice or something like that, by simply bending the straw or being able to bend the straw. Otherwise, you would have those high tables, and then some people would find it very odd to use that old type of straw. So he got an this he got a patent for this, and also earned money out of it. Again, there is no great science or great research in this, but it is getting inspired by a problem that we are facing. I am re-emphasizing the same point again and again to uh, tell you that how you can actually use the same process of orientation to identify a problem and come up with a solution, which could be a good project for Iris. Now, we are, as Sharon initially introduced, when she was introducing this webinar, she mentioned COVID-19. This is a grave crisis which whole world is facing. But you must have seen the positive aspect that world over people have taken upon themselves this challenge and have tried to come up with simple, novel ideas and innovations to help mankind. So I have just taken some such examples which have appeared in media, or they are available freely on internet. You can also go through and Google about them. Again, I am trying to bring you back to the same point, that you need to be inspired by a problem. Now let's look at them. This first one is from Kashmir. Basically, the story behind this innovation is that there's a student from Kashmir who is a student at IIT Bombay, and because of Corona, he had to go back to Valley because IIT was shut down. And while in Kashmir, he read about the status of ventilators that are available in Valley, and he found that 100 odd ventilators only are available in different hospitals there. And he felt that if something like Italy or America happens to India, then what will happen to Kashmir Valley? So he, along with a couple of students from Valley, came up with this simple frugal ventilator, which is known as Ruhdar. Ruhdar is a Kashmiri word. So he did not have to go back to IIT Bombay. All that he required was getting inspired by the problem, and this became a famous story, and it was all over the news that these students from Valley have done this innovation. And this is another picture of the same group of guys from Valley. Similarly, another one I came across few days back in news was here. If you are able to see, this is basically in the middle, the grayish or white thing is nothing but a simple DVD drive or a CD drive. And we know that when we press the button on a CD drive, you are able to take out the CD and or you are able to insert the CD into the drive. So that principle of to and fro motion uh, of the whole CD holder actually has been used to compress the ambi bag so that you could create a simple ventilator at home. And again, this was very inspiring for me personally, because CD drives nowadays we don't use them at all. In fact, they are junk for us because we have moved to pen drives and portable drives. But he could use that same old discarded gadget to come up with a solution to a problem which all of us are facing right now. Similarly, this one is my personal favorite. In fact, I was searching for a picture from UK, which I saw first. I could not locate that. But again, the idea is that old people had to be isolated. They could not meet their children or young ones. So someone got inspired by this problem and came up with this idea where people could even hug each other without actually coming in physical contact, and thereby keeping old ones safe. Again, there's no great science or great research involved here. It is the inspiration part that is more important. Similarly, there are several people throughout the world came up with these wonderful solutions where you could remain away from the patient, and you could supply medicines, and you could supply food and other things, and even monitor the patients remotely, thereby keeping the medical professionals safe. So something similar happened here in Chandigarh as well. PGI Chandigarh, they came up with this trolley-based robot where you could actually, uh, send whatever you want to a ward, and a patient could pick up simply a thing of his requirement or his choice without the doctor or attendant having to go himself. And this has a little camera. It is, you are able to operate it using a mobile phone. And there are so many features. Again, you could Google and read. That's not important. The important thing is, again, I repeat, getting inspired by a real life problem and coming up with a solution. Similarly, this is a disinfectant gadget. It's a robo with UV lamps. So you are able to, take this gadget inside a particular space, and they claim that you could disinfect that space. Here, I would like to add that, for iris, suppose we were to do something like this, how would this qualify as an iris project? So in addition to developing such a gadget, one would expect that, you do some experimentation, you do some research and find out whether this is safe for us, whether this is safe for the things which are there in the room. Maybe there are food items and other things there, because I have read somewhere earlier that UV light may not be all that safe. So that kind of study, in addition to development of such a gadget, would be an excellent iris project, or for that matter would be an excellent project otherwise as well, not just iris. Similarly, I was talking about that Milagro company. So this guy came up with this new invention or innovation because he already had the platform. So he came up with another robot which is contactless disinfection, infection purpose, and for sanitization in hospitals. So you can see I found this one being used by Fortis Hospital already. Another, I did a simple Google search and I just typed UV cabinet for disinfection, and you can already see there are Finnish products that are available in market now. We are hardly 2 to 3 months into this COVID crisis, and then people have converted this crisis into an opportunity and have come up with several such gadgets which are available already in the market. So not only have they innovated or have done research on this, they have even developed the product, and that product is available in the market. That is the speed at which people are working. Again, the fundamental principle remains same. One has to have that one has to get inspired by the real life problem that is being faced by people around. Similarly, this is another such example. So you could, you could go to Google and type such, questions. You will find that there are hundreds and hundreds of solutions which people have already developed, or they are in the process. You could talk about Mars. You could talk about other such uh, stuff that is being used for treating patients or keeping people safe. Similarly, people have to travel, so we have these isolation things that have been developed for cars. They're being used, and now people are saying that AC may not be safe, so you can see that there are solutions coming up for that. Now here you could think, what has been already done, you need not do that. But we have been in lockdown since March 25th, and now we are in opening up slowly. All the sectors of the economy will have to open up eventually. Schools will have to start functioning, colleges will have to open up, tourism has to pick up eventually. So every sector would be in need of such solutions to keep people safe. So can you think of the problems that are there, and can you come up with a solution for such problems so that different sectors of economy can function, maybe not 100% normal, but with all the social distancing norms and all those factors one could keep in mind and come up with solutions. Those probably could could form very good projects for Iris. And similarly, why Corona alone? We have so many other problems that we are faced with in our day-to-day lives. So you need to identify those problems rather than thinking of a circuit and thinking of that I'm going to connect these three things together and make something. That should not be the approach. The approach should be that you should be first looking for a problem around you. And for identifying a problem, you need not go to America, or you need not go to Europe, or anywhere else. There would be problems around you, and your society, your neighborhood would be facing different types of problems. And if you think about those problems, and then automatically you will be inspired and you will think of a novel new solution, because that problem is unique to your place. Therefore it would require a solution which would be unique to that place, and automatically you will end up with very good project idea and very good solution for that particular idea. So I have already mentioned this. COVID was just a case which I wanted to present. Otherwise, there are n number of other areas in which you could think of a problem and then come up with a solution for the same. Now, how and where to conduct the experiments, it would depend what kind of a project are you doing. Once you have identified the problem, you have some idea about what you exactly want to do to solve that problem. And then, on the way, you would maybe need some experiments that you need to perform. So for that, you can identify, somebody in your vicinity, maybe a university or a research institute, where you could, talk to some scientist or talk to some teacher, uh, or even your school might have a small experimental lab, or now we have these Atal laboratories in several schools. You could even contact them. And if you are part of Iris, then even Iris will help you. I'm sure Sharon will talk about this. Even Iris will help you tie up with such people and such laboratories where you could perform such experiments. So to begin with, I don't think you need to worry about where to conduct the experiments. But yes, how to conduct the experiments, uh, that is an area which you need to discuss with your own self to begin with, discuss with your parents, and discuss with the teacher or mentor who is guiding you on the project. And maybe possibly when you visit some university, you will find people there, who will be able to guide you on these things. And what to keep in mind while writing a good synopsis? A good synopsis is one which conveys the complete idea of, first, the problem that you have identified. What is the problem? So you need to be able to clearly define the problem, so that a reader is not does not have the privilege of you being in front of the, the person who is reading your synopsis. he has only that piece of paper, a page or two, based on which he has to judge what you actually want to do. So therefore, it must define the problem that you are trying to address clearly. It must define the proposed solution that you want to use to solve that problem. And it must also have supplementary materials. In that one page, you may not be able to convey the whole story, but then you could add attachments in which you could have, if you are planning to use a circuit, you could have a circuit diagram. You could, if you have done some little experimental or some initial study, you could add, proof of that. The idea here is that a synopsis should be a snapshot of the complete project that you are going to do. It should not be vague. It should be able to convey the idea, that the problem that you have identified in a very clear and very crisp manner. And finally, any ethical issues that might be that must be kept in mind while doing an EM project. Well, the guidelines are very clear, and you must remember that if you are dealing with if you have chosen an area where you have to conduct experiments with living material, with living things, or with humans, then you need to have various ethical permissions. You need to take consent. There are various formats which I'm sure that Iris will share with you. So you cannot do those experiments. Also, if there is danger involved, if you're doing some project where current, for example, you have to use current, or you have to use hazardous, you want to use some hazardous substance, I think that's not allowed. So you need to be very careful about these points at the beginning itself. It should not happen that you have done some work already and then you come to know that, oh my God, this you were not supposed to do it like this, and you were supposed to take permission. So I think these you need to consider in the beginning itself while coming up with a particular project idea.
Are you ready for the ride of your life? Well, it all begins right here. Your first step is picking a category you can enter by yourself or with a partner. If you are in 5th to 8th standard, you will be in junior category. If you are in 9th to 12th, you are in senior category and have a chance of making it all the way to ISAF. Now that you know which category you are in, it is time to find out which subject your project comes under.
At IRIS, you have a variety of 21 subject categories to choose from, ensuring that your project has a category that fits. The categories include animal sciences, behavioral and social sciences, biochemistry, biomedical and health sciences, biomedical engineering, cellular and molecular biology, chemistry, computational biology and bioinformatics, earth and environmental sciences, embedded systems, energy, sustainable materials and design, engineering mechanics, environmental engineering, material sciences, mathematics, microbiology, physics and astronomy, plant sciences, robotics and intelligent machines, system software, and transitional medical sciences.
A display shows the public and the judges what you have done. You're looking to attract and inform visitors about your project. So make it easy for people to access your results by creating a clear, attractive and concise display. The focus should be the work. Take a look at this reference.
Your title should be simple and must accurately represent your research.
Take photographs or videos of important parts or phases of your experiment to use in your display.
Prepare a miniature of your model in case your prototype is too large to be carried along.
Make sure your display is logically presented and easy to read.
Use neat, colorful headings, charts, and graphs to present your project. Pay special attention to labeling.
Be sure to adhere to the size limitations and safety rules when preparing your display.
The IRIS journey begins with registration on the website www.irisnationalfair.org with submission of online synopsis and supporting documents. These entries are prejudged by the IRIS Scientific Review Committee, and shortlisted projects are sent an email inviting them to participate in the IRIS National Science Fair. Winners of the IRIS National Science Fair qualify for an intensive series of mentoring camps and get the opportunity to represent India at platforms such as the Regeneron International Science and Engineering Fair in the United States of America. ICEF is the world's largest pre-college STEM competition. Over 265 Indian students have won over 160 awards at this competition, competing with over 6 million high school students from all over the world each year. Not only are you getting a chance to make your nation proud, but if you're lucky, you could join the 31 Indian students who have had minor planets named after them.
So guys, please don't miss this opportunity.
It's your turn now.
If you're innovative and you really want to bring about a change in the world, I think IRIS is the right place for you.
If you enjoy science and math and computer science and so on, so I mean, it gives you a platform to show what you've done, and you have a chance to go to ICF too.
If science actually kindles your curiosity and you're really passionate about it, IRIS provides you the largest platform in India to show your talent.
Applying to IRIS, not only get to have a great experience, you meet great people and great mentors at that. They're not judges, they're not judging you, they're mentoring you, they're teaching you. They make you learn new things.
In the end, it's not about winning or losing, it's about experience, and IRIS National Fair guarantees great experience.
Don't tell people what your dreams are. Show what your dreams are through IRIS.
It's once in a lifetime experience.
It's your turn.
It's your turn. It's your turn.
It's your turn.
It's your turn.
It's your turn.
It's your turn.
Right. We will now open up for questions. If you have any questions for the speaker, Dr. Wanchoo, or if you have any questions regards how to participate, you may please type your questions in the chat section or raise your hand, and your mic will be unmuted so that you may ask the question. There is a question, some examples for particularly engineering, okay? Dr. Wanchoo, sir, would you like to take this question, please?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
So the question being asked is project ideas, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, I mean, as I said, if I give you the idea, that may not inspire you, but still there are so many things which people are doing. A simple example I can share with you. During this lockdown, what I observed was that the police was having very difficult time to make sure that people remain indoors, they don't come out. So initially they would move around from one place to another place. And then I saw that some of them started using drones to monitor if somebody is moving out of house. And so they were at one place, they need not, they did not have to move from one place to other place. But once they would observe that somebody is moving out, and there was a famous video on this which went viral, there were children playing in a park in Delhi, and this police drone actually observed them and also made an announcement from the drone itself, and these children had to run away from it. So, I mean, there can be 100 such examples, examples which one could think of. For example, in the solid waste management area, one could think of new ways of managing solid waste, segregation of the waste itself, there is a very good engineering problem that somebody may try to target. When I say segregation, there is wet waste, there is dry waste, and there is solid waste. So how do we automatically segregate that? People in past have made attempts on this particular problem in Iris also. So this is another area which you can recycling using new and innovative ways. Recently, I came across a student who had done a project where he mixed this base plastic with some amount of sand and came up with bricks. So, I mean, the sky is the limit.
Right. Thank you, sir. I have some interesting questions here. Somebody is asking as to how will this year's IRIS commence during this difficult time? Yes, we all agree that it is a very difficult time for all of us, but I think you would agree when I say that platforms like IRIS actually help motivate students to make use of a difficult time to come up with really good project related ideas, to actually find time to do research, if not physically, then definitely online. I'm also right now addressing the question by someone who says we are school students and how will we get lab support, etc. So yes, it is a difficult time, but at the end of it all, we are all hoping that things will somehow limp back to normal, if not march back to normal soon. And yes, your lab projects, etc., you need not really perform your experimentation. You need not really complete your experimentation right now. If you have a synopsis or you have an idea, you can write it down, put it down in the form of a synopsis, and submit it for the IRIS National Fair. Again, IRIS National Fair submissions are also not opening right now. You still have a couple of months. They will open in all probability either they will open either at the beginning or towards the end of July. Now, in all probability, I'm saying towards the end of July, because that's what we did even last year. That was when we opened the submissions for IRIS. And the submissions remained open right up to September, in fact, beginning October. So you have quite a big window right now. Yes, and thank you, Harsh, for calling out that people can register for IRIS once it opens through the link. And yes, I wish we would have more alums mentor students in this manner.
And Sharon, I would like to add here that any problem always has a solution. It's only that the problem first emerges and we observe a problem and we come up with a solution. For example, right now we are interacting with so many of you, and so there's a platform which has become very popular throughout the world. People are now using webinars and video conferencing solutions. So I mean, human race is resilient. Whatever come what may, we will do, we will work, we will survive. So right now, don't think about how it will happen and how will I do the experiments. I think what Sharon has rightly told you is come up with a a particular problem, think of a solution, write a very good synopsis, and for this you need not write, you need not do any experimentation at this stage. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, the synopsis, it's a 300-word synopsis. In fact, I'll request my colleague Shrey to put on the slide presentation in which we have some instructions when it comes to writing of synopsis and submissions, etc. Shrey, can we have that presentation while we are taking questions so that people could refer to that as well? So these are the subject categories for participation. We're having a lot of questions category and which subject. So we have this here for you. Again, will be available for you later as well. So we've got 21 subject categories. If you can see, we used to have 17 earlier, but seeing that ISEF has 21 categories, we thought let's introduce the same categories at IRIS as well, so that students are very sure about what they are opting for. So the ones that are in gray, those are the subject categories that are new.
So Sharon, there's a question that can a project be about bringing about generating electricity in a new way? Why not? Yes.
Yes, why not? See, that's the entire spirit of IRIS. We encourage original innovations from participants. It is something which has always been applauded, which has always been recognized, and yes. So yes, a new way of electricity. Why not?
Uh, Sir, we have a very interesting question.
Yeah.
So a student is asking, what is the difference between engineering mechanics and robotics and intelligent machine projects? Because in the robotics, a lot of time people will use engineering, to create a robot. So how both these categories are different?
No, so in the beginning itself, I said this, that you have to consider a body, and then you have to consider that the body may have moving parts, or it may be moving altogether. Uh, so in that sense, there is no difference. But yes, there will be a lot of electronics, and it would depend that this robotic thing, for what purpose are you trying to develop a robot? What is the use of that robot going to? So then one could think of a ideal category for that. Just if you say that I'm going to make a robot, that itself may not be enough to decide which category one is going to choose for that kind of a work. But if you also tell us that you're going to make a robot for a hospital to take care of a patient, or you're going to make a robot for some transportation purpose or something like that, then one could think of a category accordingly.
So it's basically whatever the outcome
Yes.
or the application which you are solving, the problem
Yes.
which you are solving, that
Yes.
becomes your clear subject identification.
Pointer to the subject identification. Yes.
There is a question: are ancient remedies for cures experimented at home which are able to cure or improve patients' health? Can these also be submitted? Yes, they can be submitted. However, they would have to be, again, these would be something that you would need to actually verify. When you submit your synopsis also, of course, at that time, you can put this down and you can say that you are in the process of checking whether this works or not. You can share your hypothesis, but if it has anything to do with a remedy, it definitely will need to be looked at and certified by a medical practitioner. Yeah. The calendar will definitely be shared. Please follow us on the IRIS social media. Please follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and visit the IRIS website regularly. We will definitely be publicizing the calendar over there.
So there's another question: can environment science and mechanics be mixed in a project? Every year we get a lot of projects which are where the hardware has been made, which is based on electronics, for example, and you are going to use it for, let's say, plants. So it depends what is the weightage of work that has been done from one area over the other. But as I said already, that you need to look at the final end product, the solution or the problem that you are trying to solve, in which domain that problem lies. That is how you can choose a particular category. You need not worry about the it will be interdisciplinary. You may be mixing together 2-3 subjects, but to choose a category, always remember you have to target the problem that you are trying to solve.
Right, so there is a question over here about space-related projects. Can you address that, so please?
Space related, again, we last year also, if you remember, Sharon, we had a few projects on that. Somebody was trying to predict the debris in space, somebody was
Yes.
trying to calculate the orbits. Yes, why not? I mean, there is no limit from our side. We don't restrict that this kind of project cannot be done, that kind of project cannot be done. You are welcome to do any project on STEM, as long as you are able to write a very nice synopsis on that, and as long as you are able to do it, whatever you proposed.
So Syed, just to answer your question, this time robotics is a separate category. So you have more scope this time. And Harsh, thank you so much. Thank you for that input. I think all of you should read that.
Somebody is asking, will there be a new COVID-19 category in IRIS?
We want COVID to go away as soon as possible. We don't want to keep it here as a category.
So you should all innovate quickly so that we get rid of it.
So as you can see on the current slide, the tips on writing a synopsis, it's been already been told by Wanchoo sir, but I would like to detail it out further, that these are the key points which you should follow when you are writing a synopsis. A synopsis is of utmost important when you are submitting your project online on the website of IRIS. You can look at this example. So these 6 different points are covered in this ideal example of synopsis, which includes the background of idea, hypothesis, experiments conducted, results, and conclusion. And it's highlighted in particular color. And you can see this student have covered all the points in minimal words. Moving on to the next slide. This project setup and display image is available on the website. You can visit the website to, you can save the image, and when you create your display, you can take this as example. Although we have displayed this slide in the beginning of this presentation, this webinar, but I would like to reiterate for the eligibility. Students of Indian origin from schools based in India, only they can participate. You can participate individually or in a team of 2. We cannot have more than 2 students in a team. Whereas you must have seen in other science fairs where there can be a team of 3 or 4 students, but in IRIS you cannot have more than 2 people. There are 2 participation categories. One is junior, which is for 5th to 8th standard students. Junior category participants qualify for special awards and Broadcom Masters. Broadcom Masters is a program. The winner of the Broadcom Masters Award goes along with the Team India to ISEF, but they do not compete. They have their own schedule. The second category is senior, which is for 9 to 12 standard students. You can compete for participation in ISEF. And the last point is students who have completed their class 12 board exams at a time of project submission, they are not permitted to participate.
To add to this, Sometimes what happens is, hello, I would just like to add to this. Sometimes what happens is that you could have done a project with a friend and you may have been in class 10 when you did this project. Now, it so happened that your friend decided to change schools and went to another school while you remained in the same school where you had done the project. Now, if you are both in agreement and wish to submit the same project for IRIS, we are okay with that. You can be in two different schools and yet submit the same project together. However, if there are two people who have worked on a project and one goes to a different school and just one person wants to submit the project as an individual, then you need to take in writing a, a permission from the person on the school letterhead saying that they have no objection to you entering that project as an individual. Is it clear? If a project has been done by two people, then that is admissible to IRIS as a team project. However, if the people in that team, if the two people in that team are from different schools, we are okay with it. But at times we get projects wherein the project was done as a team earlier, and then when they want to come to IRIS, they want to come as an individual project. In that case, there has to be a written document saying that the other person from the project has no objection.
Shrey, there are so many students asking this question that how do we decide a category? And I would like to add, maybe Shrey, you can correct me. So, even if you make a mistake in choosing a category while submitting, the scientific review committee takes every care to ensure that if there's a need to change the category, even at that stage we would change your category from one to another if we find that your project is really has a lot of potential. So this may not be a very serious problem for you to worry about.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Wanchoo. That is absolutely right. You do not need to, students, you do not need to worry about the project subject category. When you're invited to the IRIS National Fair, you will be suggested, the SRC will make a suggestion as to which subject category your project should go under. And you will be informed about that well in advance. Okay?
You can participate online on the website of IRIS, which is www.irisnationalfair.org. There, you have to follow 4 easy steps. When you log on to the website, you click on register. If you are a registered user, you can log in or you can sign up. When you'll be welcomed on the dashboard where you can edit your student profile. You will have instruction in the quick guide tab. Then you can ask a question. There are FAQs available over there. And there's a button, add project, and you can enter information of your project in these fields. And you can submit attachments if you have. You are only allowed to put 250 words in your synopsis, but along with that you are being given an option to submit attachment in the form of PDF or a presentation, which you can do along with your submission.
Shrey, here I want to add, we receive thousands and thousands of synopses, and in some cases, or rather in many cases, we find that what students do, they would paste this 250 words in the given space and would also attach the same thing as an attachment. That you may not do, that you should avoid. The synopsis 250 words is the synopsis that you would upload, but whatever you want to attach should be different from the synopsis. Maybe you have some block diagram in mind, or you have written some code, or anything which is in addition to the synopsis that you would like us to read, so that we get a better and clear idea of what you are trying to do as a part of your project. So don't upload synopsis and then upload the same thing as an attachment. That will not help. It is only going to increase the time for us to read both the things, and they are same. There's no difference between the two.
Thank you, sir, for adding the point.
So there are a lot of questions about whether IRIS is going to be a virtual fair, etc., etc. As of now, we do not have an answer for any of these questions. In fact, I don't think this answer is there for many things which we are supposed to do in the future. I think right now we're just taking one day at a time as it comes, and we're going ahead with the way in which the IRIS has been scheduled year on year. In fact, we're just following last year's timeline as of now. We will let you know if it's going to be virtual, if it's going to be in person, etc. Just keep following us on social media, and I'm sure you'll come to know exactly what is going to happen. This is the time to be working on your projects and, thinking of how to write out your synopsis.
So there's a question, Sharon. Are logbooks compulsory, and if yes, how should we maintain logbooks for our projects? Would you like to answer?
Sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, so yes, logbooks are very important, and they give us an idea that you have actually done the work. So a logbook should be a notebook which is neat and clean, where you make entries on a daily basis or on all those days when you perform an activity connected to the project, and make sure that you write date. And if there's a guide or a teacher who is guiding you, or a mentor at home, then make sure that you get their signatures on that. All this will only make the SRC, both in IRIS as well as at the international level, believe you that yes, you have actually done this work. This will add to the project. So logbooks are very important. And second, the question which somebody had asked, whether IRIS is going to be virtual or in physical form, I think they will take care. The most important factor that would be considered by them would be the safety of one and all. So keeping that in mind, the decision will be taken in the interest of all the participants.
Absolutely, sir. Right. I think we've answered most of the questions, and I think it has been a very, very good discussion that we have had. Thank you again, Dr. Wanchoo, for this most interesting session. We've had a lot of questions, and I think we've answered most of them. For anything else, for any other questions, for the timeline, etc., please keep following us on social media. Please visit the IRIS website. And of course, we have most of your email IDs, since that's what you've shared with us. So we will keep in touch with you. We will definitely be sending you mailers if there are any developments. We will be having more webinars according to the subject categories. So if you would wish to, please keep an eye out and join us for the upcoming webinars as well. I noticed that we have a lot of teachers today among the people who've registered, and thank you so much, teachers, for taking time to register for these webinars. In fact, if I may, can I request all the teachers only to please turn on their cameras? We'd like to see you. Oh, very nice. Thank you so much, teachers. I can see a number of people giving you time, some more time to turn on your cameras. Wonderful. You are the backbone of IRIS, actually, because you are the ones who actually inspire the students to take that first step forward. So thank you so much for joining us today. We also have with us people who are, thank you so much, teachers. We also have with us people who are associated with science communities, and I think, so if you could please switch on your cameras, you are most welcome, and we would be so happy to be associated with you even in the future. And thank you so much, students, for being on this webinar. You are actually the magic of IRIS. So we hope to see many, many project submissions this year. Please keep your questions coming in. If you have any questions that you would like addressed, please feel free to write to contact@irisnationalfair.org. If you have specific questions for our subject expert, if you could mention the name of the subject expert in your questions, we will definitely direct those questions to our subject experts as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you, and have a great evening. Thank you, Dr. Wanchoo. Thank you once again. Thank you to our IRIS team as well. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone.